What's up, everybody? Amp Capo here, Black Adonis Games. Working on my project, The Lesser God here. Today what I'm going to be doing is going over some new spawners that I've been working on. This is one here that only spawns drones. This is not the one I'm going to be showing you guys today. I'm going to be showing you guys the spawner that you typically see in my game. As you could tell, you can see the guts is what you've been seeing in my game, which is one of these chambers down here. This is the complete spawner. I'm gonna let y'all see how it operates, and then I'll go ahead and show y'all, how I'll show y'all the blueprint work behind it. All right, so let's go ahead and go in. All right, so I'm gonna grab a couple weapons because we probably gonna have to fight some guys off, and I have a couple spawners set up. I'm gonna go ahead and just go to the one down here. And just pay attention. You'll hear the sound effects, just everything that I'm working on. It's not complete, but it's still pretty good. There you go, and then it produces a character. So and I'll let you see one more. And as you can see, I've been working on some effects here. I do have a freeze and a stun, freeze and a lightning grenades now. So there you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and jump in and see how that's done. And so you guys can check it out. Alright, here we go. And if you look here, I got several spawners. The ones that we were just looking at is this one here. And basically, I enclosed the spawner, and I definitely did some work to it. I moved the number system to the outside because, as you can tell now from the movement, it wouldn't make sense to have it in here, though I still could have. So anyway, I did this using some timelines. As you can see here, I got some timelines. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. It's basically the same way as you would do a door if you're familiar with doing doors, but basically at the beginning here, it's just setting the spawn creation carriage, which is the moving part. Here is the spawn device, which is the spawn creation carriage part of it. This is the part that actually makes the creation possible in my game. So anyway, that's the part that's moving. And so what happens here in the beginning is it sets wherever I have this set at to the 0 location. So if you go here and you look in the blueprint here, see how it says location and rotation is zeroed out. So it sets that as a 0 location. Okay, then we go here, down here, my spawner, I just literally used the same spawner I had before. I did modify it because if you saw my spawner before, I don't know if I ever showed it, but I literally had it starting off. This was the same, spawn by distance. This is something I set up, and I might go over that at a different time. But it basically sets the spawner only spawn when I'm within a certain range. When the player is within a certain range of the spawner, then it starts to spawn. So anyway, we go here, and we as long as we're in the right range, what happens is it gets activated and it sets, because by default the spawn rates are set very high, so the spawner does not spawn. Basically, it's such a large amount of time that if it does spawn, it won't spawn anytime soon, and it'll barely spawn anybody. And then here, once it activates, it sets it between a minimum range of 15 seconds to a maximum range of 35 seconds. So any range in there, it'll spawn a character. We got a slight delay, which once it sets it, it delays the spawner for that amount of time, which this is the spawn minimum and this is the spawn maximum, which are changed to these two. Okay, so then it goes up here, we activate, and this activation has to do with a whole nother blueprint. I haven't even added all the parts to the blueprint yet for the activation process, but I'm just getting it prepared because I'm blending it over from another blueprint. So these doors can be activated or deactivated. Spawners can be activated or deactivated as well. So I may make it in the game where you earn the ability to deactivate the spawner. I am going to make them destructible, so you will have to destroy them. It will take a whole lot to destroy them while you're also having to fight enemies. So, you know, a little bit of a plot spoiler, but not too much. Anyway, after that, it plays the cue, and it plays the sound, which basically is the sound of the moving parts here. So if you see here, we got the spawn device, and I'm just gonna open this up a little bit more. We got the spawn device here, and this is the transform. This is the new transform, and it's using that start transform of 0 that we had set up. And if you go look here, see, you can see it's at 0 where we set it here, and the event began play to 0 0 0. So that's what this is referencing here. So basically what happens is we got a timeline that's set up. So once it goes, activates, the sound starts and the movement starts. The movement whole process takes 3 seconds. Here you can see we got 0 time and the value of 0 as well. This is literally just by creating a float track. So when you add a float track, everything that you create, all of the points will be floats. This is for vectors, so you know it tells you right here what it's for. Color track, so you could change colors and things like that on the fly. So if you're familiar with this, basically this is 0 0, and then this is the full value of 1 here. So you'll see time of 3, value of 1. So when it gets here, we're at 100% of whatever we're trying to accomplish using this timeline. So if we go back here now, all I did was times this on the z-axis, because if you go here and look, the spawn device, it's only moving up and down on the z-axis. See where that's 200, and we're adding 455 to move it up to, I'll just add 400 just so you can see the actual movement of it going upwards. So you can see there it's going upwards. So that's what the whole times is. And we're just gonna go ahead and put that back to 200. Okay, because I'm actually working on my live project for y'all here, so I gotta make sure I put everything back. But anyway, if you look here, you will see now it's back at 200. That's what we're modifying here on the z-axis. That's why we're not touching these. These are left at 0. We don't need the X and Y locations to change. We simply need the carriage to move up and then back down. So it's moving up, and what it's doing is this timeline over time is updating, because you see here off of update, it goes here and it updates this transform to a new transform location. So transform is basically like, you know, transforming it, moving it to a new location. All right, so if you're not familiar, that's what it's doing. And this make transform is basically a node to do exactly what it says, make the transform. So basically this is I would say the template for the transform, or the movement, if you want to call it that. And you apply variables to this movement, and then this here, if you go through here, you'll see that it times that by the start location. So it takes the start location and multiplies it by this movement that we have going here, or this increase in the variable amount. Okay, and then the spawn device is what we're moving. So that's what's plugged into here. So once that gets done, and then you can see here it says finished. So when the timeline is finished, basically it updates this all the way until the timeline is done. So it's like 1, 2, 3 seconds. It's going to make this move in 3 seconds. Okay, and once it's finished, it's going to come down here. We're going to have a 0.2 second delay, And anybody that's not familiar with blueprints, or even if you are, a lot of times when you have errors or things not moving the way you want them to, or things are just, instead of going smooth, they're just jumpy, a lot of times it's because you don't have delays set up to give the system time to make changes. And some of the events take a little time to calculate, and you need to let one function or action complete before starting another one. Typically in one blueprint, you don't want to have a bunch of actions trying to fire off at once. It does cloud your situation, and it will kill your frames a little bit. So anyway, it comes down here. That's the 0.2 second delay. Boom, come around. We got to do once, and I needed to put this in because when I did not have this in, it was spawning like a whole bunch of guys at once, like brrrr, like, you know, it might fire off 10 guys at once, which is not what I wanted it to do. I wanted to fire off one guy every time that carriage moves up, and then comes back down after it moves up. Boom, it fires, drops the character. You can see here where it had, these are all of my characters. The way I did it was I made an array, and before what I had was a very, very long spawn actor at location, like here, right here, spawn AI from class. And so I had a whole bunch of those just in a row, started from here before I added the system. Right after this point, it was just like a spawn actor from location, delay, spawn actor from location, delay, spawn actor. So basically all these actors. So the blueprint was so long, like literally was like all the way down here somewhere. It was just ridiculous, and it wasn't efficient at all. It was actually making my frames go down a little bit because of how I had it set up. So I reset it up this way, man, and this way has been a lot more efficient. So anyway, it grabs the character from here. For each loop, it will choose one of these characters randomly. As you can see here, 0 to 11, and we got option 0 and option 11. So it chooses one. Also, we activate the particles, which are here. So if you go to the viewport and I click this compile, you'll see, boom, it's going to activate those lightning effects. That's the particle systems that we both have. There's 2 here, and those are the 2 systems that I have activating. And like I said, the activate is part of another system. You don't have to have the activates. That's part of something else that I'm doing, but I'm just letting you know why they're there. Literally, it could just go from here. It'll play the sound, which is the thunder strike that you hear. And then it's going to spawn that AI. It's going to have that 0.2 second delay. It's going to play the sound again, because what is it doing? It's going to reverse. So now you see it says reverse from in. So now it's going to take this timeline and play it from 3-1 all the way back down to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that's basically taking it back down. Then it's going to deactivate from my little personal system that I have, but basically it's taking that transform now and reversing it. Also, if you look here, you'll see we have a delay that's coming off the finish here. So when it's finished, it's going to go here. It's going to do a 3-second delay, and that delay is going to come back down here, down this wire, and do a reset, because we want to reset the do once so that it can be fired again. So that's basically what we have here. Also, I have the spawn by distance, which I'm not going to go into this node and explain it or anything right now, but basically if it's false, it's going to set that value back really high again, so that the spawner is barely spawning anybody. It does keep my project very efficient. Also, on the characters themselves, I have despawns by distance. So if the character gets a certain distance away from me, the character just is destroyed, because I don't really need it in the game at that point. If it's not a major character or a character that I need, it has this setting on it that I can just destroy it. But anyway, that's how the spawner works. It's a relatively simple process. Setting it up takes a little bit of work. You just got to remember that where you set your movable part is where your 0 point is going to be. So Before, I had this actually at the point of where the lightning strikes, and it spawns the character, and it was causing all kinds of issues. It was the spawn carriage was jumping out and flipping the wrong way and doing all kinds of stuff because it just wasn't right. So another thing I wanted to let you know, that if you're working in this, make sure you use a multiply here. I literally wasted like hours of my time because I didn't realize that I had a plus on this instead of a multiplication, and it does some horrible things when it comes to the movement. So just make sure that you're using multiplication here and not addition. It does make all the difference. All right, so that's pretty much the spawner, man, how we got it going here. And let's go back in one more time so we could just check it out one more time. And I'm gonna go erase, there we go, my save file, so that we're starting fresh again. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and check out the spawner one more time so you can see a full action and see all those things that I showed you. They'll make more sense to you now. We'll go ahead down to this one here. I did add a lot more effects to the characters that I'm still working on, some special effects and things, but here we go. So we're at the spawner here. Now you see. There we go.
Monsters.
So that's it. Yep, there's monsters. Alright, man. I definitely thank y'all for stopping by. That boy is stunned. Camp Capo, Black Adonis Games. Let everybody know about the game, man. The Lesser God, TLG.